Warm greetings, ma'am. Niti Aayog, which happens to be the apex institution for planning in our country, is not merely restricted to the forecastings or plannings of numbers or the economical forecasting or the finance part. No, Niti Aayog's task is to also look for technologies or for habits or for revolutions that are going to change how the everyday life, how businesses look in the future, how the everyday life of a common individual is going to change. And artificial intelligence is one such technology. And thus, in the budget speech of 2018-19, the Honorable Finance Minister mandated Niti Aayog to prepare a report on artificial intelligence, on how artificial intelligence is bringing about a change in various sectors, in various domains, and how India as a whole can leverage the power of AI for the greater good in various departments. And thus, Niti Aayog came up with a detailed report in June 2018 named National Strategy for Artificial Intelligence, and it branded it as hashtag AI for all. Why AI at all? Why AI at all? Let the numbers do the talking. AI has the potential to add $1 trillion to India's economy in 2035. And in terms of gross value, it amounts to approximately $960 billion. It's not surprising to know that in 2019 itself in India, AI professionals doubled. That tells us about the scope, the extent to which AI is being used in various technologies, in various departments, what what not means. Very soon we will realize that we all are using AI in our daily lives and we fail to realize so. So the strategy which was developed by Niti Aayog in its AI for all branding, it majorly comprises of three components which are known as the three E's. The first is the enhancing and empowering human capabilities to address the challenges of skilled expertise, and thus to serve as an opportunity, as a new factor of production with labor and capital. So that's the opportunity part. The second is the endeavor part. The endeavors to tackle some of the global challenges from AI's perspective, be it application, research, development, technology, or responsible. And thus, it leads to a term which is known as AI for greater good. Thus, we are going to leverage the power of AI for development and inclusive growth to improve the quality life and not just merely for an economical or financial betterment. And the third is the effective implementation of AI initiatives to evolve scalable solutions for emerging economies and thus serve as an AI garage for 40% of the world. Why do we say so? See, India, it provides a perfect playground for enterprises and institutions globally to develop scalable solutions. And thus, with slight modularities, whatever is being developed in India can be used uh, in the 40% part of the world. And thus, we can say that if you solve for India, you solve for 40% of the world. So before we look into the impact of AI in various domains, in various sectors, let's dig a bit deep into the technical aspect of artificial intelligence, what it is all about. It's a branch of computer science dealing with the simulation of intelligent behavior in computers. Human intelligence is a is a is a three component process, or it's a three factor process. Sense, we get a stimulus. That's stimulus travels from our organ to our brain. The brain comprehends those signals, um, derives some meaning out of those messages, and send back a reaction to that stimulus, and the organ acts as per the message. And that's what intelligence for a machine looks like. We infuse it with the ability to perform tasks which are commonly associated with intelligent beings. And then there are AI technologies for each of these functional domains: computer vision, audio processing for sensing, and NLP and knowledge representation or comprehension. This is not an exhaustive list, it's just for an example. And then we have the front end illustrative solutions that are performing the artificial intelligence task. Let's move ahead. Let's look at the comparison between human versus machine intelligence. Humans perceive by patterns, whereas machines perceive by a set of rules and data. Humans store and recall information by patterns, while machines do it by using algorithms. Humans can figure out the complete object even if some part is missing or distorted, but same is not true for machines. The domains which encompass under the broad domain of AI includes NLP, robotics, deep learning. We all come across these terms in our daily life: visualization, audio speech analytics, virtual person assistant. So as I referred to minutes back, that we all are using AI in our daily lives and we feel to realize so. You take the example of Siri, you take the example of Cortana, Amazon Echo. What are these? These are all virtual personal assistants and they are all AI driven. So see, AI is not something which is there in the horizon still, and we are yet to get hands on it. It's very much there with us. We are using it in our daily lives without realizing the importance and ease with which we are doing it, and the ease it is creating for all of us. Uh, so the next question pops up: that is the use of AI, the extent to which the AI can help limited to some sectors of the economy, or can it be applied to each and every sector? AI actually can be applied to each and every sector. You look at the graph. Let it be construction, let it be travel. These are all broad domains, and look at there's so much disparity between them, but the use of AI is binding them all. All of these sectors, this is not an exhaustive list, obviously, but I bet that there is no such sector in that cannot leverage or is not leveraging the power of AI. But broadly, the use of AI is being done in three ways, broadly three ways. First is by mobilizing intelligent automation. Second is by driving innovation. Or the third is by empowering existing workforces. One important thing which I would like to mention here before moving ahead is that it's a very interesting fact that we derive from this graph, is that it is seen that more a company or a sector, let you take financial services. So the financial sector services is the sector which is currently having the most wide range adoption of AI, and the amount of AI spending it is expected to do in the next 3 years is also the highest. So it's like, if the more you dig into it, the deeper you go. It's no coming back. That's the power of AI. It's always a win-win situation. So it was important for Niti Aayog to come up with some broad, concise sectors in which the strength of AI could be narrowed down, so that the government can come up with initiatives and programs, and narrow down as to how it's going to streamline its leveraging of the power of AI and the research. And again, so it basically Niti Aayog came up with 5 sectors which are important from the Indian perspective for leveraging the power of AI. The first is healthcare. I don't think that the current times require the the emphasis, the expedition, they require any kind of there's any requirement to highlight the importance of healthcare sector. We are all dealing with the COVID pandemic. Uh, Having said that, let's look at what are the broad shortcomings of this healthcare sector in India. There we have shortage of qualified healthcare professionals and services. Obviously, there's non-uniform accessibility to healthcare across, then the affordability still remains a problem. And then in India, we follow a reactive approach rather than a preventive approach. We go for a test or a doctor only when we feel there are some symptoms or we feel there's a need to go. We the 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 essence of healthcare is is pretty much lost there. It's not a preventive healthcare; it's more of a sick healthcare. So how can we leverage AI, or how are we leveraging AI right now itself in this department? There is a national repository of annotated and curated pathology images for early detection and treatment of tumorous cells, which can be used for early diagnosis of cancer. Then there is AI-based radiomics, which is an emerging field in which comprehensive quantification of tumor phenotypes is done. Then there is early detection of diabetic retinopathy. There is a pilot project is which is going on this. Uh, we all know that the government of India has given a major push in this healthcare sector by two broad schemes. The first is the Ayushman Bharat program, which is the National Health Protection Mission, in which insurance cover of 5 lakh rupees per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization is done, and it is set to affect uh, and about 10 crore families. And the second is the health and wellness centers, which have been for which 1200 crore rupees have been set apart by in the budget for 2018-19. And the focus of these health and wellness centers is to shift the primary health care from selective to comprehensive. And by comprehensive we mean including screening and management. And these HWCs are set to provide 12 basic healthcare services, which is an expansion from the previous 6 ones. So in each of the sectors that we will discuss, I have tried to come up with few examples which are very new, very latest, to show you how the currently AI is being used, how is AI is being leveraged uh, for various types of uses. Like we see that the current time of COVID-19, MIT researchers are using AI to translate structure of coronavirus into music, and so as to come up with the final RNA structure of the virus in order to develop its antidote. And researchers are using AI to predict which COVID-19 patients need ventilators. So see, you never know. Even the smallest of things may require the biggest of technologies and may ease out things to a bigger extent. Then we come to the education sector. Now, education sector, we can again the importance lies greatly because and it is even amplified by a large youth population, and there are estimates that currently over half of the population in our country is below the age of 25. So as the adoption of digital means of gathering data is increasing, it is important that these methods are effectively leveraged to deliver improved education and teaching, right? So, but still there are a big lots of shortcomings in this sector. These include lack of room space, lack of interactive pedagogy, inadequate attention for likely dropouts, large teacher vacancies due to uneven distribution, professional development courses are not up to the mark, then there is low adoption of existing technologies. And how we can leverage AI to uh, to to look after these shortcomings? Adaptive learning tools for customized learning. An example is that we can the AI can assess by the use of assess AI, the time spent by a student on each part of the learning material can be assessed, and based upon that, the learning of the student can be understood, that how much the student must have understood the chapter, and does how much rigorous training and practicing he would be requiring for that subject or that topic itself in particular. Then interactive intelligent and interactive tutoring systems can be developed, analysis of test result, attendance records to predict probable student activities and inform pre-active action, automated rationalization of teachers to places of vacancies, and then customized professional development courses. These are all the the ways in which we can leverage AI for education. Uh, the it's great to know that the edutech department is rapidly growing in our country, and in fact, in this COVID hit crisis, in fact, edutech remains one of the fewest sectors which is seeing a growth, a big growth. And the latest news comes from the edtech startup Vedantu, which raised $10 million from China's Legend Capital. Again, to highlight the importance of AI, uh, I have imposed this news, which tells that CBSE has introduced 3 new subjects, including AI for class 11. So that tells about the importance the government is giving to AI. Next is the agriculture sector. Uh, Agriculture and elite sector still accounts for 49% of India's workforce and 16% of India's GDP. Right? Even though we are diversing, and there is a big focus of the government to so that uh, our source of income does not primarily remains concentrated on agriculture sector only, and we are slowly diversifying as well, but still there's the major sector of our GDP is contributed by uh, agriculture. And the GOI has recently prioritized doubling farmers' income as a national agenda, putting considerable focus on supply chain perspectives in agriculture and market development in addition to productivity augmentation, right? But still, again, the shortcomings for this sector as well, these include exploitative dependence on resource-intensive agricultural practices and unpredictable variables. Let it be unpredictable weather, unpredictable rain, uh, or uh, mismatch in the type of soil suitability and the seed being sown. Then there's poor productivity and poor resource utilization. There's use of water in agriculture continues to be still very high. Then there is weak supply chains and non-existing functional end-to-end agricultural value chains, and thus the farmer is not getting the exact value for its crops. How can we leverage AI? Soil health monitoring and restoration systems can be developed using image recognition and deep learning models, crop health monitoring and providing real-time action for best health of the crops, increasing the efficiency of farm mechanization, and increasing the share of price realization to producers, which could be done using predictive analytics, and which will be helpful in providing more accurate supply and demand information to farmers, right? Some highlights that I have from this sector in which AI is being leveraged, that NITI Aayog and IBM have partnered to develop a crop yield production model using AI to provide real-time advisory to farmers of test aspirational districts in India, which includes states like Assam, UP, and etc. IBM's AI model for predictive insights to improve crop productivity, soil control agriculture inputs, and early warning on pests will use data from remote sensing, and this all will help in improving the soil, crop health, and also make sure that the soil does not get retarded very soon, or and it could be reused for the next harvest. Microsoft also, in collaboration with Equisat, has developed an AI sowing app, and which uses machine learning and power business intelligence. Also, this app, what is it actually doing? It is providing advisories to the farmers, and and the best thing is that the farmers do not even need to put sensors in their fields, and the results have been amazing. There has been an increase in yield from 10 to 30% across crops. That was done for the kharif crops. Now the next sector of focus is smart cities and infrastructure. We know that India is currently amidst a surge of urbanization. We know that it's majorly hampered by this COVID crisis, but still, let's see what was the planning all about. But still, the biggest problem is that even under this urbanization, it is unplanned, and this unplanned urbanization, it will present challenges such as congestion, overpopulation, high crime rates, poor living standards, and it will eventually put a huge burden on the infrastructure and administrative needs of the existing Indian cities. So how can AI be leveraged for these? Uh, could be used for smart parks and public facilities, for construction of smart homes, then AI-driven service delivery. We still know that to get a task done in a government office is a tough task. So AI could be leveraged so that timely response and more effective response could be given to the citizens. Then crowd management. something as basic as cloud management, which becomes such an important task in today when when social distancing is the norm to deal with the current pandemic crisis. And we see the example on our right as well, that Mumbai policing is using drones and artificial intelligence to enforce social distancing. So we see the planning and the execution is quite synonymous with each other. And the other AI ways in which AI can be leveraged for smart cities and infra include intelligent safety systems and cyber attacks. The last sector of focus is mobility and transportation. It forms the backbone of the modern economy due to their linkages with other sectors. Every sector, every business is incomplete without mobility and transportation. And as a major contributor to overall emissions, which this is one important aspect that we often tend to neglect, this sector must also be sensitive to ideas of environmental sustainability, right? So there are shortcomings. So the shortcomings are majorly associated with road and rail traffic, because that's the two sectors which are majorly contributing to the mobility traffic. And the shortcomings are very common: the congestion in road accidents, high number of traffic deaths, lack of public transportation infrastructure, need for sustainable transportation, and then efficiencies in design of greenfield infrastructure. We need green fuels, we need electric motorcycles, electric vehicles. And now how we can use AI to overcome these shortcomings. We already know that Tesla has come up with autonomous driving vehicles, which are AI driven, which are AI powered, then intelligent transportation systems, travel route or flow optimization so that maximum distance can be covered in least time as per the real-time information. AI for railways. I have an example for you. Recently, Ministry of Railways (GOI) decided to use AI to undertake remote condition monitoring using non-intrusive sensors for monitoring signals, track circuits, etc. So we see that a sector as big as railways, a sector which we might still feel is it's so lagging in terms of in terms of technological progress, is also making use of artificial intelligence. Then community based parking, that's a concept in which AI is used. It helps the driver to search for available parking space on real time basis. So having said that, having leveraged to be able to leverage all these potentials of AI, then there lies the importance of four important factors. These things can we are already using, we are already exploring the power of AI, and we need to continue to do that to a greater extent. But there are some important things that need to be taken care of. Research. The Niti Aayog under this report has suggested establishments of CORE, which is the Center of Research Excellence, and ICT-AI, which is the International Center of Transformational AI. It proposes that these centers will serve to be the exclusive R&D centers for artificial intelligence. Then skilling for the AI age, we need to, like we saw in the previous example, that AI course has been introduced. So we need to make our workforce population skilled in artificial intelligence for the new future. We need to further increase the adoption and penetration level of artificial intelligence in each of these sectors. And we also need to deal with the ethics and privacy and security issues that erupt with increased use of artificial intelligence. Like we see in the news report in front of us, Clearview Artificial Intelligence Security Labs leaves files apps exposed publicly. So as the digital transformation, as the digital age increases, we also need to take care of data security and to make sure that cyber crimes do not increase. Recommendations for the future: how all this research can be concentrated for a better future. We need, and these recommendations are mainly on the government's front. The government needs to forge a national AI plan and a multi-stakeholder partnership. It needs to strengthen its AI R&D ecosystem, as we discussed before. It needs to enable and broaden access to data. important thing. Artificial intelligence requires training of machine. Like if you talk specifically of machine learning, and a machine cannot learn without having some past data from which must have learned in order so that it is in a better condition, it is in the right state to perform to a new situation. So for AI to work and for its subdomains to work, the access to data and access to uh, meaningful data needs to increase. We need to create a workforce for the AI future, and we need to embrace smart regulation. Uh, Thank you so much.